Hello, and welcome to Season 7 of the FODcast, the podcast focused on the future of digital commerce hosted by Simply Commerce. Season 7 promises to continue to bring you some of the industry's brightest minds across the globe as we unpick the sector and where it's heading. From war stories to strategy and technology deep dives to future trends, we cover it all as we continue our journey to have one of the most popular podcasts in commerce. Before we start, if you enjoy our content, please do hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening on, like and share on socials. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast, the future of all things digital commerce. Today, I'm pleased to welcome Jochen Binder, Head of Backend and Data Solutions for diva-e, one of Europe's leading full-service agencies. Jochen and I share a few similarities. He's a fellow fitness enthusiast that calls Hyrox his sport. That said, he's been slightly more successful than me, making it to the world champs on more than one occasion. Anyway, today we will be breaking down the development of e-commerce platforms and what the future holds, an area he is also slightly more knowledgeable than me too. Welcome to the show, Jochen.
Thank you, James. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's nice that we talk about Hyrox today. No, not really, but congrats to you. I think you broke your personal best last weekend in a half marathon. That's really also a nice achievement.
Thank you, thank you. It's all in the aim of Hyrox, right? So you got to be better at running to be better at the sport. So we get there slowly. I'll be at your level
Yeah,
soon, Jochen.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, we will see in Berlin in our next joint Hyrox event. That would be cool.
Definitely, definitely.
But yeah, unfortunately, we will not talk about Hyrox. Hopefully, some of you do sports when you hear that. But I want to introduce myself a bit. So I studied business informatics more than 20 years ago, worked a long time as a backend and full stack software developer, and later also as software architect. In parallel, I always was in leadership roles like team leads and yeah, begin then to lead the subsidiary in Karlsruhe, and after we rearranged at diva-e the structures. Now I'm responsible for the backend and data solutions. So we do mostly all the composable commerce projects at diva-e and also some custom development projects. So I started at diva-e at the end of 2009. Maybe also a few words about diva-e. You mentioned it's a full service provider, so we call it end-to-end business. What we deliver, we really start by strategic consulting at the beginning of a project, or maybe it's just consulting a customer until and do the implementation, front end, back end, also search optimization, content creation, stuff like that. And also we do application management, so really maintaining applications all around the world, doing keep systems running, which is really important, and it's end to end. We are about 900 employees, mainly in the German-speaking area where our customers are located. They do business all around the world. And diva-e is also part of the conclusion group. Before we start in the questions, I want to mention that a small disclaimer. I will talk today about my experiences in different e-commerce projects, different e-commerce systems, and we have many partnerships at diva-e. So it's other departments are focused on their partners. I'm focused on my partners. Maybe I will say a few better words on my partners, but that's really my opinion and my experience I want to share today.
That's all good. Obviously, everyone has different experiences and different opinions and different thoughts about technology, and obviously in particular what the future holds, Jochen. So yeah, don't worry, we won't hold anything against you at the end of the podcast.
That's good.
But I wasn't aware that you were part of a larger group as well. So there we go. Every day's a school day, and you learn something new.
Yeah, that started in the mid of last year, where yeah, conclusion is now the the main shareholder of diva-e. So.
And there we go. At least I'm not too outdated then. So I was starting to worry a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's jump in. I think let's get started and start off by breaking down the current landscape of platforms. Obviously, there's been substantial change in that space over the last 5 years, with a number of challenger brands picking up market share. So, what are your thoughts on the current landscape of platforms, Jochen?
Yeah, I think main difference if you take a look at the landscape is to see the systems who are for B2B business or B2C business. So some players are in both sides available, but we do the main business we do is I think still B2B, but also there's many big brands we support in the B2C sector. So that's mainly the big difference if you take a look from the outside. And there, diva-e as said, with 900 employees, a big company, and we do the really enterprise project. So you always have to think about there are many e-commerce systems for smaller agencies, for smaller budgets, which is not mainly the focus of diva-e. So we are typically talk about budgets about 250,000 euros up to more than 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, stuff like that. So, and if you think about that, you also have to think about the systems where the license costs are and what is really matching to that projects. And yeah, I said maybe we can talk about first about B2B because it's I think the main part or the most projects we do. And there are the typical B2B can be everything. So you also do B2B between fashion brands, but in our case, the sectors are typically the manufacture sectors. So sensors, machine producers, automotive industry. In Germany, we call them the hidden champions. So you do not know these brands who really sell their products in 40 countries over the world and do really a billion euro revenue a year. And they are typical maintained by us or do large relaunch projects with e-commerce systems. And what we really see in B2B is that they are a bit behind B2C. So everybody is there in Amazon buying products, and B2B is different. So there are really old systems running, and it's every person working in the purchase department wants to buy same customer experience like in Amazon, and the B2B companies really have to change their thing, their customer experience, their buying experience. And that's really something which is demanded, and we have to react on that. But you cannot really do the same because products are different in B2B. There are more hierarchies, more layers, more attributes than if you think about Amazon or other big companies who really sell the product direct to the customer. And you need also systems which are flexible for that product data, for that complex product data, and flexible to to plug in many other systems in the back end, in the ERP systems, or you do for example, the OCI punch out, if you know about that you really can buy products from the customers from the customers SAP system directly from the shop. So many things to combine, to integrate And that's the main part where these e-commerce systems must be flexible and usable. If you think about B2B, at diva-e we compare two streams: the enterprise suites stream, where is also Adobe, where is Salesforce and SAP, and the composable commerce stream we see Spryker and Commerce Tools on the B2B side. So that's maybe the landscape. I will maybe deep dive in a few of these typical, not every, don't get be feared that I will talk about every detail, but maybe get an overview about the main e-commerce systems we are using at diva-e.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. You touched upon five main platforms there. It'd be interesting to hear kind of the conversations that you're having, to your customers, and where you're seeing the most demand, basically on the B2B side. Is one of those platforms standing out as the platform of choice for B2B brands that you're working with, that you're speaking to, or is the market very much split between all five?
I think it's mainly split about these five. So talking about Spryker, SAP Commerce, Commerce Tools, um, and and Salesforce, of course. And yeah, always there are rumors. Is switching to B. A is dying, but A is still there, so it's not dying. I think it really started with SAP Commerce at the I think it was bought at the beginning of 2013 or something like that from SAP, and this was the big hype for SAP Commerce. So it was built up on premise. It had really much possibilities for the B2B sector, but you also have to implement a lot of stuff to get it plugged into your processes. So you have possibilities, for example, vouchers, but to use it as you want it, you have to implement many things. But many projects have been there or are still in the market, and have grown. And I think there are also many monoliths out there in the market, because what we see in our customer who maybe are switching from SAP Commerce to another platform, that it's not longer maintainable, or you have your development team, and what you do is after 3, 4, 5 months, you have to upgrade to the next version, and this took a few weeks to upgrade it, and that's really expensive, and that's really, yeah, it does not bring to you any business value if you upgrade the system, keep it maintainable. And another problem from SAP Commerce was the switch, or um, the ending of the on-premise support. So many customers have to switch to the cloud, and yeah, you also if you just switch, you have many migration efforts and nothing for business value. And this is the point where some think, okay, then I can switch to another system, maybe which is more flexible. So that's about SAP Commerce, but I'm still think that is a such a it's the market it's still a leader in the Magic Quadrant. So it's a relevant player also for us and for our projects. I've developed it on my own, so I have experience with SAP Commerce, and I think it was at the right time, at the right place, because at the mid of 2010 years, the cloud was not so popular as it is now. So on-premise was really the focus, to trust in the system, to have it in your own computers running in your own. And at that time, also Spryker raised So we have been at the Demexco fair in Cologne, 2018, I think. It was really a big start. Spryker was founded before, but I think there was the beginning where it really we accelerated, and we did more and more project beginning at that time. At the same time, we were also under DMX together with Commerce Tools, and the difference there was Commerce Tools was cloud only, and Spryker was also possible to do both. So as a PaaS or on-premise solution. So, and we were there at the early beginning together with Spryker and grew to the biggest partner in Germany, or the German language, German speaking countries. So this was the starting point. And I think if you think about the B2B business, Spryker is matching to what we see in the automotive industry very well. So they have developed a lot. We have good experience with them and really big systems running all over the world with them. So, but yeah, on the other hand side, Commerce Tools, maybe for a few early adopters, I would think, in 2018, who really started directly in the cloud. They are really were successful, and it's I think the cloud is now popular than ever. So I think this time has gone. I think beginning of the 2020s, this fear of the cloud disappeared. So it's not longer a point, and nobody wants to do it on premise again, or will start with that. So that's no point. So Commerce Tools also a very a high player in the B2B sector. They also developed a lot in the last 5 years. I think main part for Commerce Tools is being the pure MACH player. So from beginning, they also joined or founded the MACH Alliance, and that's really important part of Commerce Tools.
Yeah, I think it's so that Commerce Tools certainly rode the wave of the Mac Alliance and how and the prominence of them coming to market. Obviously, Commerce Tools is widely associated as I guess the platform of choice for many that move to that composable architecture, and it's done well both in B2B and B2C. I'm sure we'll talk about the Mac Alliance and Mac itself in a bit more detail during the call. But in terms of B2B then, so I guess you mentioned a few, but the key ones you're really seeing is SAP Commerce, Spryker, and Commerce Tools. That's kind of where you're personally seeing the demand and the conversations are going.
Yeah, I think that is what we see in the market, and it's also a challenge between these systems. Of course, sometimes Commerce Tools wins, sometimes Spryker wins, sometimes SAP Commerce. But we will maybe also talk about later about the market situation in the moment. So there are not many projects in the moment. So we have a really good customer base, and developing their systems. So not so many relaunch projects in the moment. Yeah, but it's always differs. So Commerce Tools is really MACH, the pure MACH tool, but also separated in domains. You really need some other systems to use next to Commerce Tools, maybe to send mails or create mail templates and stuff like that. That's not inside Commerce Tools. If you choose SAP Commerce, you have a really good tool to manage everything. So it also depends what you want. And yeah, we can do all of them, but yeah, it differs what the customer really wants. At the end, you can be successful with all of these three. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. How are you seeing it in the B2C space then, Jochen?
Yeah, B2C space. So what we do in B2C is also not the typical easy projects with a single brand. Think of compression socks or for running or stuff like that. That's maybe a typical Shopify case. We do more also the complex projects around B2C. We also have Spryker B2C projects, Commerce Tools B2C projects. So Commerce Tools is, of course, um, part of that market, and Spryker also, but there are also different players. What is really a few words about VTEX is also partner of us. Um, I, I'm really excited what the future will bring us in the especially in the German speaking market. We started, I think we had the first project with VTEX in Germany. Um, and VTEX is located in or founded in Brazil and very, I think they dominate the market there and in south of America, and they are also yeah uh, in the US now more and more and increase their footprint there, and also they started in the German speaking market. I think last year they have now uh, introduced two German speaking VPs and salesperson in Germany. We will see what they will come back or do more and more projects in that. So really excited, and they really offer many possibilities, from marketplace possibility to have a really checkout in place, and every process you need for B2C brand. Um, but yeah, this our new rising star at diva-e, I would say, or maybe also in the B2C market is scale commerce.
The
Um,
rising star, eh? I like it. What a title to have.
yeah, it sounds good. No, it's really it's like that. So scale was founded from I think the same story than Commerce Tools. Commerce Tools was in the beginning a Rewe Digital, so a glossary store. Scale was the e-commerce project from About You. It's a German or mostly German a big fashion brand where you can buy products, and they developed their own e-commerce systems and created a spin-off out of that, and yeah, had more and more customers on that platform. Scale is, but not just only fashion, so they can do fashion really well. We have also a brand which sells automotive parts for B2C, and and other brands or baby products with Versandhaus Walz, and
They also do Bayern
yeah.
Munich and Man United, right? So they're obviously ventured
Yeah,
into the sports sector as well, where there's a lot of innovation.
yeah, and I think Rising Star would say they have really big brands who everybody knows in Germany or in the UK. So last year they have Manchester United, they have Harrods. We also supported in the background with the Harrods project.
Nice. Like I've certainly heard a lot of good things about Scale as well. They've done very well in the UK market over the last couple of years. I also have heard a reasonable amount about VTEX over the last 2 or 3 years, but it doesn't seem to have quite had the same traction in the UK. But it sounds like they're starting to make some headway in Germany and the dark region. So it'd be interesting to see just how the platform gets on in what is a very competitive landscape right now, because you've also got BigCommerce, Shopify, Commerce Layer,
Yeah,
Centra. I mean, you name it. There's too many to name at the minute. So, bro, well,
yeah,
look,
yeah. Also Emporix, we are also yeah we are watching the market, market and yeah, really. take a look at these systems, how they evolve. Emporex is very similar to SAP, or it was the cloud part was separated, and Emporex developed that. But I think, yeah, they have a really small footprint in the market. Also, BigCommerce is, I think, very, very strong in the US. I think in the DACH region 2 years ago, they laid off many salespeople, what we've seen. So that's a part where sometimes, yeah, the market stops. And that's what I see at BigCommerce and also Salesforce. We do also many Salesforce projects, but the main part also e-commerce. But the main part what we do is with the CRM system, loyalty cloud, marketing cloud. These are the main Salesforce systems, and there's also still Magento in the market, but we do not recognize growth at that part. So on our side, I'm really not included in Magento project. So, but as you said, we have many systems, many good systems, and when we think about the growth of the last 5 years, these are the ones that are still which have grown very much in the last 5 years and really do big business. So
Okay.
I think,
Okay.
yeah.
And do you think that is that because the reputation that the platforms have? Is it just because of the capabilities that they have? Is it the fact that I mean, the commerce tools, Scale, VTEX, they're all very modern? Like, what if you had to kind of put your finger on one reason as to why they've seen that growth? What would you say? What would you say it is?
Yeah, I think if we think of the SAP hype, SAP commerce hype, it was that there was really a system who is flexible. You can put everything in there, but on the other hand, you created a monolith maybe, and it's not maintainable. And I think the last 5 years, it's the first of the 5 years was driven by the MACH alliance. So Commerce Tools was really cool in that. And over the time, we also was in a project with pure MACH project, which was also in the pandemic, so which flopped at the end or was stopped because the customer changed everything at the same time. So the e-commerce system, then the CRM system, every SaaS product in the market was loyalty system, delivery, payment provider, stuff like that. Everything what you need and everything at the same time. And that I think there are many projects in the market who flopped, who tried to do the really dogmatic Mach way. And I think if you think of Scale, also VTEX, or also commerce tools developed in that, that you do not have to use a specific system for every use case or domain. So the system brings some complexity or some product applications you can use. This is maybe if you think about the checkout. So Scale has a checkout, you have to use that. That's maybe sometimes not that flexible as you want. But also Commerce Tools now has a checkout you can simply use and be much more faster. And I think this is the main part to be what changed, that if you start a project, you define a most valuable product and you want to be on the market in 3 months or 4 months and really learn very quick. And also if some things you have to be adopted, then you can react really fast and change stuff. it's not longer you have not the possibility in the market to develop a systems 1.5 year or 2 years, and this was possible in the 2015 or something, that it was possible to develop a system 2 years long before you go live. This is not longer possible, what I see. You have to really be fast with the first parts of the project, and get feedback from customer experience, from the customer, and all these systems must be much more flexible.
Okay, so you touched upon something there which is quite interesting, and that's how some of the vendors are starting to enhance their products and they're starting to add more capabilities. Commerce tools, for example, having a checkout. Um, my opinion is we're starting to see some sort of consolidation between the vendors, and I feel as though kind of that we're going to see more of that over the next 5 years. I don't. If we're looking at the move to Mac in particular, I don't think many businesses want or need to have 15 to 20 different systems talking to each
Yeah.
other. Um, so I see consolidation between them becoming more of a thing. We're already seeing that, and I think that will continue. But how do you see the next sort of 4 or 5 years developing, Jochen? Obviously outside of the consolidation, do you see anything else sort of happening in that space?
Yeah, I think we had this small accelerator hype, I would say it. So,
Yeah.
Commerce Tool started with that, or pre-compose, I call it. Everybody has a different. We do also have an accelerator. So it's difficult to have these 20. This we often call it a zoo of systems, and you need a guide who goes to you to the zoo and says, "Oh, this animal is interesting and this and that," and you have these three animals, and you are very happy, and you do not have the time to play with that every animal in the zoo. So accelerator is fine to combine products, but I think if you do that, you also have to take care which person is really using it. And as you said, you do not want to be a marketeer and go to Algolia and change that, and go to a Storyblock and change that, and go to Commerce Tools and change the price. Um, this must be more easy. The customer experience outside should also be in the back office. So
Mm.
you also have to be fast there, and that's also a point where systems should be more flexible to include stuff in their back office. I think can do that with the merchant center, for example, at Commerce Tool side. Um, but I think it's also important, on the other hand, to have maybe um, 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 if you think for the promotion engine, for example, that you have a possibilities, and if maybe it's enough for some customers, but also you should have the flexibility to plug in a really specialized product like Talon One to do the promotions or to do loyalty uh, in a much other level than your product can. But this is the way where Commerce Tools and Scale and Evolve, they have very good, um, I think, use cases for maybe 80% can use it and are happy with that. And they also develop their products. But I think it's still important that you can plug in really um, special products also for search and recommendation like Algolia. It's really hard to have that in an e-commerce system, and we do not have to talk about content management, which is in every e-commerce system not usable. If you really want to do content commerce, if you need content to describe your products, to give more information, more possibilities. This is not really useful to use that just from the e-commerce system.
Okay. So you see businesses maybe picking a standard commerce platform, but still going down the route of really specialist areas when it comes to things like search, promotions, loyalty, CMS, etc. Um, something I asked earlier, something I mentioned earlier was the fact that there are so many commerce platforms now. Easily 10, if not 15, that we could probably list quite quickly.
Yeah.
Do you see any of those platforms disappearing from the European market? Are there any that you think struggle to really stand out that versus others, or not, Jochen? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard to say in the moment. So what we see is, I think we also had this post-pandemic market situation where everybody thought, oh, this will be growth. Um, and I think that was also the problem of some of these e-commerce systems, that they really hired salespeople, hired marketeers, hired many peoples, and we see it now in the market that these companies are struggling. So BigCommerce started 2 years ago with layoffs in the sales departments. The recent example is Commerce Tools, who laid off, I think, about, when I read it right, about 70 people. So, and also C-levels change, but another CEO, CRO is not longer there. CMO, the CSO, Kelly Götz, who was also in your show, is not longer there. So that's, I do not have insights, but if you see it from outside, you think, is it maybe because what we also see in the market, that there are now new big e-commerce projects, a few, of course, but not 15, 20, 30 projects a year for each of these vendors. And this is a problem. And I think there are many of them who do not reach their goals in the moment. This is because there are so many changes. It's not just Commerce Tools, also Spryker, many changes have been there. Um,
Who do you think will struggle the most? I mean, you've obviously got brands like Shopware, not brands, sorry, you've got vendors like Shopware as well that seem like they're losing market share. You mentioned Magento earlier, also losing market share.
yeah,
Like who do you see as the ones losing the most market share?
yeah. So as I said, so I think Shopware, we are not partner of them, so I can talk I can talk about them. But what we see is also switch to other systems. We have also seen that they have, a difficulty to have really something similar like the others, like SaaS systems. So it's not really a cloud solution, so it's still, I think, a bit behind, and Magento the same. As I said, we have a few projects running, but um, I'm not sure. Maybe it's another sector. I do not have the view on them, um, but maybe they're also dropping out of the market. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, okay. I
So
appreciate
I
that.
think it's not the relevant enterprise player,
Yeah.
both.
Okay. Yeah, and I appreciate it. They're not areas where you have a focus yourself, but it's always good just to hear your opinion and your thoughts, right? Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
also seeing less of those projects as well and hearing about them less than other areas. So it's I find it interesting. Cool. Okay, so let's put your Mystic Meg crystal ball in front of you, and let's talk about what's the next top topic in digital commerce. So, how do you see things evolving, and what do you think is the next hot
So,
topic within digital commerce?
yeah, I think AI, of course, everyone wants to use AI. A few years ago, it was, we need a marketplace, we need a marketplace. I think this hype has gone, but I think AI is also relevant for us. Um, we see it on vendor side that everybody creates a tool which or a possibility to use to enhance images, alt text, or to create content. So um, we also implement a project on AI side for maybe for document store to have to search document in a dialogue and really jump to a specific PDF and have a summarize and stuff like that. So really cool project. I think AI is on the rise, but still you have, if you create content, you also have you create translations. It's also important for our B2B customers. If you have 40, 45 countries to maintain, um, it's always relevant to have these translations available. But I think in the moment AI can also fail and do wrong things, you have to double check stuff, which
Yeah.
also we will see if this is decreasing these fault positives or call it. So I think in the moment everybody is not so trusting the AI completely. So it's used for support, for better chatbots, of course, for better or what we also do in a project for enhancing product information or bring it in a better structure. So it's easier to have unstructured data and put it in a JSON, which is machine readable and usable. Um, before that, it was not possible, and then AI can do that really quick and really with really good results. These are things, but it's more or less in the background. I think in the forefront, um, loyalty is a big thing,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
also loyalty in B2B, because in what we see, loyalty is not really relevant for B2B. Not as we know it in B2C. Loyalty is, of course, relevant for B2B because they do have they have not that customer base. They have also always the same customer base. But the problem is, if you think about manufacturers, typical sales cycle was that the salesperson fly around the world and sell their machines, but they also want to have more growth and growth and growth, and that's not longer possible to do like that. So what we see is these customers also want to raise the percentage of the e-commerce systems usage. So they have maybe 10% e-commerce revenue, and they want to grow up to 50, 60% over the e-commerce platform. So they want to decrease on salespersons directly sales to bring customers and bring new customers on that platform. And that's a possibility also for loyalty to have new customers jumping in and together with promotions, and this in the B2B. I think this is a new trend or an area where we are just in the beginning in the moment. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's a really interesting point, and I mean I've spoke about loyalty with a few people on the show. We've had Sam from Talent One on last year,
Oh,
as well as Fiona at Loyalty Line, and a number of people as well that has discussed loyalty in general. But generally speaking, it's always been with regards to B2C. So I think you make a really good point, and it's relevant for B2B as well, and something that I certainly haven't done much research into and don't know much about. But if that's kind of where you see things going, then it'll be interesting to see how companies in that space do adopt loyalty programs and make it work for them. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, right, in terms of rewarding a loyal customer base. So it'll be interesting to see.
yeah, and I think B2C, it's clear, but it's also getting more and more relevant because delivery costs are increasing, and everybody is Prime customer of Amazon, and you only get free delivery if you are Prime customer. So loyalty will also increase in more and more systems or more and more shops that you need a Prime account, a silver gold account get free delivery or free returns and stuff like that. I think this is the same, but if you think about B2B, you have also these customer-specific pricing, for example, or dynamic pricing. It's also stuff which is not available there. And what we see is that the typical B2B customer uses this price information or a specific price for a specific customer using their ERP system. But if they want to grow, and they are now with 10% of their revenue on the e-commerce systems, and there they do the direct cost to the ERP systems, and they want to grow to 50%, then there will be much more traffic on these pricing engines. And this is also a possibility to have a special system there, which is who can maintain all this traffic and really specific information. So and this is also combined with loyalty, find the best price for that customer, a possibility to grow for them.
Like it. So yeah, I mean, I can see the crossover there. I think there's the fact that obviously both are relevant to the B2B space shows kind of where you're seeing the most demand in the market right now. Obviously B2B is clearly behind B2C when it comes to technology, when it comes to customer experience, when it comes to everything. So actually, it's it makes sense for the next topics in your opinion to be in that B2B space. I'll be interested to see how they develop, but I certainly agree that there's a lot of opportunity there. Obviously, AI, as you said at the start, right? It's hard to have a conversation that doesn't have AI in it somewhere along the lines. And I think we will continue to have far more of those conversations over the next couple of years. And I think the rate in which what AI can do for both B2B and B2C companies is going to increase exponentially over that time, and it's going to be really cool, a little bit scary, but really cool to see how companies adapt it into their infrastructure and their everyday dealings with the customer. Well, I know you were a little nervous about doing this in English, Jochen, but look, I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to join me and to have this conversation. There's lots of cool insights shared, and really interested to see how the future of sort of plays out, particularly in some of the areas around B2B that you mentioned. So look, thanks again for joining me on the show. And to everyone that's listening, hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, James. See you.